Welcome back to Surviving a Stroke. This is Chris, a stroke survivor from 2011, and today I wanted to talk briefly about something that doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion, and that's the psychological toll of having a stroke. There's so much emphasis, and rightly so, on your physical health. A lot of people don't really think about your psychological health or psychological needs. I mean, when I had my stroke in 2011, I felt like um, so much focus was on the physical side of me that not really a lot was focused on the emotional side. And I think the one thing that did help me a lot, and I was very proactive in this, is I told my boss, "Hey, tell people I'm in the hospital. I had a stroke. Come visit me." I gave them my room number. I told my family the same thing. This is my room number in the hospital. Come visit me, because I wanted to make sure that because I find that people are my energy. I need to have people around me, these people that are positive, to keep me in a good mood. And so, because I was a teacher back then, I had a lot of students come visit, had a lot of friends come visit, and one thing I thought was a wonderful bonus is I had a lot of relatives I haven't seen in, I hate to say it, in decades, and they came to visit me, and they put me in really good spirits. My wife was there whenever she could be there, like in the morning before work and after work. So I had a lot of support while I was in the hospital. I mean, I felt really bad for a lot of the other patients in the rehab wing where I was at, because a lot of people did not have anybody there for them. There's a lot of people that had no families there for them, had no friends for them there, and really they just had the hospital staff. And it's, when you're not in good spirits, in my opinion, you're just not going to have a very good rehab. It's so hard to do that. I think I might have mentioned in my second episode, uh, the patient that was in the room next to mine, he kept crying. And then they finally told me the reason why he was crying so much is that he was in a car accident. He lost two of his legs, and there's nobody there to support him there. So for him, his recovery was going to be really long, because he really just didn't build up a support system for himself. So while I was in the hospital, I had a heck of a lot of support. When I got out of the hospital, not so much. So again, you really have to work on your support team. And what I did for myself is I built a Facebook page that was like my team support. Because I wanted to share, like I'm doing here with my podcast, things to kind of give little tidbits of advice for people, because they may not be getting it from their therapist or anything. So I had that support online. I joined a lot of support groups on Facebook. I must be like in 4 support groups on Facebook right now. I don't contribute as much as I should, but I do contribute. Um, because strokes play havoc on your brain. That's the one thing I've learned. And so for me, it made me depressed more often. It made me question myself more often. Um, I had a humongous sense of guilt I had to deal with, because I felt like I was a burden to people. And quite frankly, 15 years later, I still feel that way. I'm a big burden on people. Um, yeah, stroke really messes with your brain, and you're dealing with a lot of depression. It affects your relationships with people, because you can't do the same things you used to do. A lot of people have to take care of you. Like, for example, like at work, whenever there's an outing, I need to find somebody to push my wheelchair. And every time I feel this sense of guilt. I feel like I'm a burden to somebody. So there's a lot to deal with when you have a stroke. And one of the things I suggest is go to therapy, go to support groups, do what you can to get supported with your family. You have to kind of set the boundary for what kind of support they can give you, if they're willing to give you support. And, and if they don't give you support, maybe they need to have that gentle reminder that, hey, I'm a human, and I really need to have this kind of support. So it is one thing you have to really consider once you have your stroke. And I know for some people I know that had strokes, they have an amazing support team. Like my cousin Connie, she has an amazing support team. And I think that has a lot to do with how quickly she healed. And I find that that's a lot, that has a lot to do with your healing. It's the psychological side. Like the more you feel supported, the more you feel positive, chances are you're going to progress much faster than you would if you're just feeling really negative. So that's the big thing. I know this is a really short podcast today, but it really, my point is that when you have your stroke, and whether you go to a rehab center or you go straight home, look to see what is your support system and what are you doing for your own mental health, because you got to really take care of your mental health. Okay, well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Make sure you follow my podcast, and please feel free to share with others because I want to make sure I get the word out. Thank you so much.